Hello, Daniel, the naturopath here for the Heart of Tradition podcast or video cast. Wanted to talk to you today about what's been floating around in the world today. A big topic on the lung system, pulmonary system, and magnesium, transdermal magnesium. Just finished an article on the subject and thought I'd put something on YouTube. So I'll just read you some of the clips from the article. Ever heard of mineral reps? I imagine not, but drug reps are everywhere. Unpatented natural molecules are of no interest to drug companies, except for disinformation campaigns. The editor-in-chief of The Lancet, the nation's top medical journal, has concluded that up to 50% of research literature is false, due, of course, to conflicts of interest and selectively motivated funding. In this false research paradigm, one must use one's own experience, intuition, and reason to find the truth. So just going into what magnesium can do whenever it's done right, not just a basic magnesium that you can find anywhere. Try to have more discernment in the quality, the origin, and all of these things. The origin and the quality are going to change everything, especially the purity. So transdermal magnesium oil that we use here is the purest possible. There's only one ingredient in the bottle. It's sent directly from Holland, which is coming from a stone called bischofite, which is a soft stone which looks translucent in nature, and it takes nature 250 million years to create this through the Zechstein Sea. Most of the brands using even the word Zechstein in America are falsifying claims, mixing with some Zechstein and some non-Zechstein. There's no real control over it. All we know is that there's only one source in Holland that's selling the original product, and the real batch-controlled source, which is always contains the Zechstein inside logo, which is on the bottom of the bottle. If that logo is not there, it's not the real thing. It's some sort of genuine Zechstein or authentic or whatever it is, but it's not coming from the source in Holland. So then they're just typically, you can get this stuff from Asia, from Tibetan exploitation, where they use solvent extraction on some of the chalk. They pull the potassium out, the heavy metals out, and then they concentrate it into a magnesium oil. And then they send you not only the oil, but in plastic bottles, which leak endocrine disruptors into the product. And they multiply this with a whole range of cosmetics you can buy from them. And so it seems like a lucrative business because you can get for 30 cents on the dollar like a really amazing set of products, all amazingly set up for you to build your business and just put your own labels on, and everybody's happy, right? But the problem is the quality's not there. We're going for a more medical grade, which is actually the better grade, and it's not even some like shishi product where it costs more and therefore nobody has access to it. It's not that. This costs like $3 a week to do it right. This bottle lasts 2 months. So one bottle for 25 bucks instead of $7 or dollars or whatever you can get it for somewhere else is actually only $3 a week. And if you do it for 3 or 4 months out of the year, you're pretty much good for most people, except for sport people and people that consume more magnesium or they have pathologies or different things. So there's no need to panic over the fact that it's not available, it's too expensive. It's not. It's really $3 a week. It's possible for everyone to do it and to do it right, and not just solve the deficiency part, but to have a high chelation effect magnesium, which can detoxify the cell. You don't want like this kind of dirty / solvent extracted version in the body, because although it will help with the magnesium deficiency, it won't help with what the full spectrum of magnesium, optimized magnesium levels can do in the body, which is detoxify a lot of these modern toxins back out of our system. So you're getting kind of ripped off. You're getting the half spectrum effect and for maybe half the price, but you're still not getting the full treatment. So that being said, all this talk about the coronavirus, which is less dangerous than the flu, by the way. The flu kills 50,000 people a year on average, and the coronavirus is very paltry in its scope. It's mostly a media sensation, which has had a lot of funding and a lot of media and I could say not oligarchical, but huge forces are behind the push of this, and the timing of it. This whole the timing of let's just China faltering, and then at the same time you have America's economy growing, and then they want to stop the world economy from growing or put a damper on it as possible. European interests, different interests to create a level playing field or whatever, because things are getting away from them. I don't know what's happening. I just know the timing is very strange. I mean, they're trying to run this into maybe even the election and make the election, we're all staying at home or whatever. I don't know what they're doing, but the whole thing just seems like a big gamble to sell more vaccines and everything else, or to force them or change laws around that. But anyway, so the magnesium in coronavirus or influenza, transdermal magnesium applied to the chest allows for an increase in cellular magnesium. The dermis and the subcutaneous fat layers in the skin allow for acidification processes and lipid conjugation to allow for optimal assimilation of the chloride molecule. This molecule is a strong antibacterial. Magnesium chloride also has strong chelation potential when it has not been chemically refined or treated. This allows for detoxification of contaminants, bacteria, toxins, and acid residues, heavy metals, and even endocrine disruptors, especially if preserved in glass bottles, not plastic, because that leaks into the final product, which you absorb directly into your skin. So how are you going to pull endocrine disruptors out of your body, which are trapped in there from all the food and air and plastic and soy and everything else that we get coming in our system? How is your body, through transpiration, which has been proven, it's been proven that we can get these out through transpiration. And not just we're all like working out all the time, transpiration. When you sleep at night, you lose like a kilo every night due to sweat. And so not just sweat, but it's like molecule, water vapor, carbon, these things are coming out as you sleep, and there's kind of a process of an exudative process happening. So what I mean is it's not just you have to work out all the time. That helps. But even an aged person or someone, who's not in that mode is also getting that benefit. Just not as intensely as a younger person that's able to push that through the system and detoxify with more, more metabolism, more push, So magnesium chloride has been used in France as the #1 natural remedy to prevent or fight the flu and the common cold for over 80 years. This also can apply to the coronavirus, COVID-19. Unlike magnesium sulfate's paracellular exchanges, magnesium chloride interacts with the cell itself, detoxifying the core. The purity also plays a role in that, because when the molecule has not been refined or solvent extracted, that purity allows for these cellular exchanges to go much more smoothly. Now, these are things that at some point they'll prove, but the problem is who's going to get in there and prove this to a perfect level yet? Because, like I said at the beginning of the article, there's not mineral reps out there who are promoting minerals. I mean, people are making their money off of patented molecules. They don't care about this type of natural solution. And as far as how it gets into the body, yes, the body does take some of that magnesium, the topical magnesium, pulls it in through the sweat glands, through the skin, into the derm. The acidification process passes there. It helps to break down some of the metal. They say you cannot absorb, that's all the new studies say, that if the magnesium is not in contact with the body 24 hours, it cannot be absorbed properly. And that's not the case when we're taking it internally. It's going out to a certain degree, especially quicker than 24 hours. But whenever it's coming through the skin, this is that one system speaking, saying, hey, we're the system this was supposed to be used for. Look at our ancestors, the Greeks and Romans. They ate the food. They didn't have all the monocultures we have today that destroyed the soil, but they also went to these great efforts to set up bath and spa culture in these mineral-rich waters that actually they bathed in, and their body pulled magnesium in through the skin. They were dosing up. That's what that was. And so we're just learning how to do that in a modern format for like $25 for a month or 2 months. And you grab a bottle and you just go for it. Sports people are using it all over the body. There's no odor. There's only one ingredient. It has it's lightly viscous, but it's more like a dry oil, so it dries on the skin. And you don't want to mess with the product. You don't want to cut it into creams and all these things that they do with it, because it takes away the value and the power of it. So you want to keep it the way it is. If you're like, oh, I don't like the texture, then don't. You want that texture. Oh, it kind of stings at first, the first few weeks or something. No, you want all that. You don't want to remove that. Now, you say that there's people who would say, well, no, you got to bend to the market. You have to, cheapen it out a little bit so that everybody has access to it. I understand some of those concepts, but I think the harder way and the better way is over time to educate people about these things. I mean, when essential oils were first coming on to like the natural market, people didn't know how to use them properly. I'm not saying they didn't exist before that, but a lot of people didn't know how to use them. Now they do. They know not to pour them all over themselves, and but it took a second, and so we just have to go through that educational phase where people learn how to use these things right, and then they become the multi-purpose products they were meant to be, powerful products. So magnesium in asthma, bronchitis, emphysema, COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder, pneumonia. Magnesium helps in the synthesis of methacholine, which is how the lungs dilate and remain optimally flexible. Vaporized nebulous magnesium is the primary remedy for acute asthma. This is true. St. Luke's Hospital confirmed a 77% readmission rate for those suffering from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease where low serum magnesium levels are found. Magnesium in viruses, the herpes simplex virus, labial sores, what is it marked here? Cold sores and fever blisters can be stopped in their tracks through application of non-chemically treated transdermal magnesium, parentheses, only a small percentage of transdermal magnesium brands. Magnesium may be the most commonly used supplement in chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. Epstein-Barr virus infection may be common in ME and CFS. Recent research into EBV and magnesium suggests that low magnesium and EBV infections may sometimes go hand in hand. All right, well, so what do we have here? So this just is a little fractals, some bullet points that just help us point to the importance of this product in healing and the antibacterial nature that it has in the body and how it can destroy and eliminate toxins and heal the lungs. It helps the lungs to dilate. It helps the lungs to produce the methacholine, which is for that vasodilation. It also helps in the cases of emphysema. This has been well reported on emphysema cases improving. Also, asthma has been well reported, not just on the nebulous acute phase, but even as a long-term remedy. So apply to the chest, throat, etc., or just to do a daily treatment of this, 5 to 10 sprays, maybe 20, depending on how much you want to use. Daily, and run it through for about 6 months. It will only cost you $3 a week, but this deficiency is serious. It's not something that you can just overcome through a couple bananas and a chocolate bar or whatever. It's just ridiculous. The soil is deficient, and it's not getting any better, and it won't quickly either. So whenever there's no more compost being used nationwide, we're not replenishing the magnesium that we're taking. So we have to find another way, just like our ancestors did. Come check us out at theheartoftradition.com.